Hello, my name is Steve Stahl and I'm Provost here at Baldwin-Wallace University. Thank you for joining us today. I'm here talking with Dean Susan Kuznik. She is Dean of the Carmel Boyer School of Business as we kick off Carmel Boyer Week here at Baldwin-Wallace University. So Susan, you've been at the School of Business for a while now before going up to the Dean level. What about the School of Business makes this a position that you want to have?
Well, first of all, Steve, thank you for interviewing people throughout the school, and I thank them for their support for saying she would be okay at the dean position. So I'm happy to be the dean. I've been here for an awful long time and starting my career here as a part-time faculty and really appreciating what BW had to offer. I was teaching at some other schools, we won't mention them right now. But when I taught here at Baldwin-Wallace, I was teaching in the graduate programs. And one of the things that struck me immediately was the culture and how focused it was on the students. And at that time I said, I think I'm going to do whatever I can to stick around here. So as an adjunct for 13 years, then I moved into a full-time faculty position and moved into various positions here within the university. Because this is a special place. The School of Business is a special place. And I wanted to make sure that I could give my talents to this school and to the university. So, coming here, recognizing what we do, and even at this stage being aware of who our graduates are and what they're doing in the world, it makes all the sense to me to be a part of this. And to be a dean at this level is to help all of the other faculty, the staff, the chairs, the associate deans, to bring forth what they have and to help direct where we're going to be going in the future. Because we are in, as everyone knows, very difficult times. And so if I could use what I've learned here and be somewhat of a leader, pulling out the leadership potential in others, crafting the future, I think that's what it's all about, and I'm happy to do that.
Well, good. One of the hallmarks of BW education is a close personal interaction between faculty and students. At the undergraduate level, could you give just maybe a couple of examples of how the Carmel Boyer School of Business lives that mission?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we have faculty who roam the halls who are looking for students. As a matter of fact, walking in this morning, one of the faculty was sitting in our lounge area talking with students. And that just happens naturally. And so it's not that they have to go out of their way, but you see a student, you say hi, you're walking down the hallway, you might stick your head in the class, say good morning. Faculty are working with students all the time. And some of it is research-based, and they're doing some things that are advancing not only the faculty's interest, but getting the students involved in some research. And others are just, being there for them. And it just comes naturally because, again, that's our culture here. That's what we do. And I love it. I'm glad I have this faculty here because when I was offered this position by you, I had to stop and think for probably 2 seconds, and I thought, we have great people here, and it's a no-brainer. So,
we also have great equipment here. I had a colleague of mine come to campus with his son and a friend, and they spent some time in the Bloomberg room. Talk to me about what this facility is and how you take a different approach than other places with this.
We are expanding that room, as you well know, and we have the latest acquisition. So we've expanded it to 14 Bloomberg terminals, which allows us to have a class close to 30. And we have taken that, students come in and they learn about, they get one certification. They take a class in Bloomberg, they get one certification, and then they also have a certification in Excel. And so it prepares them for a lot of their future classes, particularly in the area of finance and also in accounting. So they have the access to the Bloomberg labs, they know how to use the terminals, and the terminals are used in research. When I was teaching the capstone class, Business 451, I used the Bloomberg terminals We had an orientation for those students who didn't know how to use them because they were still new. And it was part of their research where they could go in, they could really see what their competitors were doing when we were doing strategic projects, and to say, what are you doing? Where are they? Where's your stock? Where's this? Where? And it was just the whole gamut of things. So having access to that level of information really enriches the students' knowledge, experience, and also I would say confidence, because these are used in the real world. And they're having access to the real world. They come in here, they use them, and we're continuing to weave them in more and more. The other part of it is the people who teach in the Bloomberg room. And so Dr. Christian Encia, he's one great faculty. He will teach, he'll start teaching right away. We have high school students who are coming in and learning that we have Bloomberg terminals, and I think we have the most in the state of Ohio of any other institution. Some have maybe one or two. And Dr. Herman Sani, she loves teaching in that room. So when you have people who love using that technology, and it just rubs off on the students. And then, as I said, other faculty are weaving that into their curriculum. So we're getting a lot of use out of it. And I think it's very important.
So in addition to just getting a degree, you have a couple of industry certifications. Are there other ways undergraduates get to apply their knowledge before they leave BW?
Well, the big thing that we do focus on is internships, and certifications and internships, I think, go hand in hand. We're really pushing more certifications. You know, not so much with the Bloomberg room, but let's talk about digital marketing. So in the digital marketing area, we have faculty who really are tuned into the whole digital scene, social media, everything that's going on there. And then we also work with some of the students who are in graphic design. And I am so impressed when I see some of these things coming out of the students. It's not the faculty, it's the students. And they're putting their ideas together, they're collaborating, they learn how to work in the real world here. And so we have projects that the students are working on. The other thing that has been created is the Digital Marketing Center. And so a lot of our undergraduate students are working with real clients, and I don't want to say who they are, but there are companies who come to BW. If I mentioned a few, you'd say, oh yeah, I've seen them sell this or manufacture that or whatever they're doing. But we are helping to extend their marketing reach through the digital media, and the students are the ones who are doing the campaigns. They're putting the material together, they're writing the content, they're doing the videos, they're doing the whole gamut. So getting to the fine points here is that we are an applied university, and we have applied programs. And so our programs really give the students, I would say, not just a leg up, but the confidence to say, this is how it's done in the real world, and you're already learning this. And even on occasion, someone will come back and say, hey, you know, that pro forma that we were talking about that we had to do in this one simulation, the employer I was interviewing with was shocked that I knew about pro formas and I knew about this whole strategic planning process. And I'm like, well, good. I'm glad, because that's what we do here at BW.
Excellent. And that's really been the approach of the university since its founding in 1845, to make sure that the education is applied to what you'll find after you leave BW. So what about graduate programs?
Graduate programs. Well, in my prior life, I was the Associate Dean of Graduate Business Programs. And so I was very focused on getting our MBA aligned with not just a core, but with specializations that people need in the real world of business. And also focusing on the healthcare MBA. And so within the School of Business, we have two major foci, which is what we call our Flex MBA, and the other one is the healthcare. And also it is to make the MBA accessible to people with the various lifestyles that we have going on in our world today. And so we know people are busy. COVID, again, threw a wrench in how we delivered programming. However, you know, as the Associate Dean, I had already started faculty education in the area of teaching remotely. So when it hit in that one March and you said, okay, we're going remote, We went remote, and it was, I can't say easy, but it was the fact that we had already prepared to think through how are we going to offer our curriculum, how can we leverage this technology. So at the graduate level, we pretty much led the way for the rest of the School of Business. And our graduate faculty teach at the undergraduate level as well. So transferring that to the undergraduate was fairly easy. I can't say that it was easy for everyone because changing your pedagogy and how you're going to approach your assignments really needed to be thought through. But it happened, and I'm glad it happened. And you know, the key thing again at the graduate level is for us to take a look at what is it that the industry needs, and how can we provide that kind of education and still skills and experience to the graduates. And sometimes we have classes where we, for example, in the healthcare MBA, we have a weekend cohort, and for the most part, people are there in person, or if they can't be in person, it's virtual. But you don't want to miss those classes because the richness of the conversation that happens within that classroom is, you just can't capture that with an assignment, because the thinking, the collective thinking that's happening with all of the people, the executives, some of them are younger, some of them are seasoned physicians and directors and chairs of various institutes within hospital systems. I mean, it's phenomenal. And I mean, someone said to me, how could you teach that class over and over? And I said, because I learn something every time I teach it from the people who come there. And then again, we have an applied experience at the end of these capstone classes, or at the end of these MBA programs, where you either have a simulation where it pulls everything together, or you're working with a real client. And that again is building on the history of Baldwin Wallace, but it's also saying to our students and to those in the community, they've already done this.
Right.
And you know, this is a couple $100,000, maybe $250,000 consulting project that somebody would do, and you're doing it for this client. I just heard of one today who said yes, they'd love to participate. I'm really happy to hear that. But it's getting these businesses who are really significant in the community to say, yeah, we'd like to give your students a chance to evaluate us and make recommendations to us. So, you know, the whole thing with MBA, we're still evaluating it right now. We're evaluating everything because we're going through an accreditation review. So we're doing our self-study, so everything's getting looked at, which is good. It's keeping us busy. We'll be finished with our package soon and submit it, and I'm hoping for positive reviews. But the thing is that we, and I would say in the School of Business, especially at the graduate level, have always been looking at what do we need to do? What do we need to put in place? What is it that the industry is looking for? And even just case in point, last month, we had the School of Business Advisory Council together, and you and President Helmer were part of that meeting. And so we have established linkages and relationships with key people throughout the community and alumni in some cases, and they are telling us what the needs are. And partnering them with our faculty, then the faculty say this is what we need in our courses. We can make changes to the syllabi, to the coursework, maybe even create some new graduate programs. Those are some things we're doing. With some of the graduate programs, if I may add, is that instead of just getting a degree, we offer certificates.
Okay.
So you can get a certificate in healthcare and you take certain healthcare courses, or a certificate in analytics, or you know, other different areas where you can build. And then we use the term stackable. So you can stack these and at some point in time achieve that graduate degree that you're looking for. And also the School of Business looks for linkages, if you want to call it that, where some of our content might be able to be combined with another school.
Right.
For example, our certificate in enlightened leadership, when you take a look at that, if you were to couple that with something over in arts management, conservatory, or even something over in communications, when we take a look at the humanities, you know, critical communications, persuasive campaigns, these are some areas that you can see where two different areas can come together and really make for a great program.
So at the graduate level, we're looking at a curricula that are relevant, that are current. They're informed by conversations with Cleveland's very active business scene, which is world-class healthcare, professional sports, Fortune 500 companies. That's available anywhere because you can take it either seated, synchronous, or asynchronous. In fact, the
Correct.
same course, you could do that as conditions change.
Yes.
And undergraduates, they can go right into your graduate programs, or they
Yes.
can wait, right?
Yes, they can. And that's the other neat thing, because what we allow is that our undergraduate students can take 3 classes at the graduate level, and so they can count towards their undergraduate and they count towards their graduate work. And so it depends on what your major is and what you want to get, but you can take these classes. It can certainly help with the cost
Right.
of getting a graduate degree. But what they can do then is span the space, get it done in quicker time. Some students get their MBA done in a year. Some people are doing 2 years, some people 3 years. It depends on your lifestyle, depends on your budget. But it allows them to move into an area where they can get some advanced information, advanced knowledge, advanced coursework, and again, put them ahead of the pack when it comes to
Right.
evaluating our students against others.
Yeah, for a student that comes here and then goes to work before doing pursuing a master's degree, having 9 hours or roughly a quarter done, that makes it much more efficient, and you can do it from anywhere because you can
Yes.
take it online.
Yes, and I was just thinking this morning about some of our healthcare students, and I have a note to call someone in January who moved to Las Vegas, and I'm like, I'm going to give him
Yeah,
a
there we
call
go.
because we have opportunities yet. He has 3 classes to finish his degree, so why not? So our flexibility is really a big thing.
That's excellent. So, Dean Kuznik, this is Carmel Boyer Week, and we are in the Carmel Boyer School of Business. Talk to me about the significance of the naming of the school, and what are we doing to celebrate it?
I am very honored to be the dean of the Carmel Boyer School of Business. And after meeting our namesakes, Bill Carmel and George Boyer, at a naming ceremony we had in May, I could see why we chose what we chose, who we chose, but also 3 key words that represent these men: integrity, purpose, and drive. And they represent this. They have done so much for the university. They are graduates of, and we weren't the School of Business then, but they do have degrees in the area of finance. They represent what I think BW is all about. But also, I'm glad to have them represent the Carmel Boyer School of Business and for us to move forward with those 3 items: integrity, purpose, and drive. This week, we want to make sure that all of the people in the School of Business, students, our adjunct faculty, everyone who is part of the university even, understands why we were named as such, why those 3 key values were identified, and we are going to be announcing that, sharing that, spreading the word to all students at BW, because it happened in May. We weren't able to, have any kind of celebration at that time. Students left. But with this week, what we want people to do is recognize that we have a heritage. We have a heritage that builds on 2 great men. And this is something we want to have them be aware of, respond to, recognize, and quite possibly make that a part of who they are and what they stand for. And, as we say, a yellow jacket for life. I want them to be a Carmel Boyer School of Business yellow jacket for life. And we'll have more events that are going to be happening throughout the year. In the springtime, we'll have some recognition. We want to extend this to our alumni as well, and to have them understand why we have picked these 2 gentlemen to represent this School of Business. And we'll be announcing more as the time permits.
Yes, I've met them once or twice, and a school that's going to continually change, as you've described here, needs a solid foundation, and they represent exactly that foundation that
Yes,
we
they
need to go
do.
forward.
Yes, they do.
Well, I appreciate our conversation today. I learned a lot more about business than I know at the beginning. I hope you enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for joining us. Any questions, feel free to contact Dr. Kuznik. I'm sure she'll find someone to help you out.